In this episode, we cover karmic relationships. They're relationships that, regardless of how bad they are, you need to stay in the relationship because you owe a debt to your partner. Woo. Is that even fair? Yes, it is, because you owe it to them. You promised it to them before you ever came here. You can't quit those relationships or you get slammed in your life review. We cover much more, including childhood neglect and hidden spiritual gifts. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, welcome everybody. We are so excited to be in your room, in your phone, on your computer. It's just so lovely that you're joining us for this podcast. Please enjoy.
Okay, well, what do I say to that? I think Sandy's bringing the energy today, that's for sure. This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your earth journey, the soul that is you on your earth journey. That's why we focus on dreams. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing in your life right now, how to make the best of this earth school, then look no further than your dreams, because that's what they're all about. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome, the obstacles that are there in your path on purpose, put there by your guides, because overcoming those obstacles, mastering the fears around those obstacles is what allows you or helps you raise your vibration. You need to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to come back and do it in another lifetime. Anyway, to get your dream analyzed on our show, simply email radioshow@dream-analysis.com. Everybody who emails the show gets a reply from the lovely Nicole. And with that said, shall we dive in? I know, Sandy, you want to make an announcement first.
Yes, we've got our channeling cohort that's going to start on August 3rd. Checking the calendar. Yep, it is August 3rd. So if you're interested in learning to channel, and everybody who graduates our channeling program does channel, you may want to look into that. I think you will love it. It's a fun class, and it is amazing the changes that people get when they can learn to channel for themselves. They're now empowered. Anything you want to add, Michael?
Just simply the link, dream-analysis.com/courses. That will get you all our courses and the channeling courses listed there. And we'd love to have you join us. Sandy, do you want to do some dreams?
I do, and I'm kind of excited about diving in. So are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Fighting with Trevor, and that's her husband. And this is from Jane. Trevor and I were shopping at a store. It seemed like a Target or something. I was pushing the basket, and mid-sentence, while I was talking to him, he just walks away from me. It angers me, so I decided to leave the store without him and go my own way to the car. I accidentally ran into the corner of a black transparent plastic door and blew right past it. I'm angry and stomping my feet into the black pavement as I go. Somehow I gain momentum and am now on rollerblades going downhill quickly. I hit a few speed bumps, but I glide over them easily and finally make my way back to his silver box-shaped car. He's already sitting in the car, and I realized I must have taken the long way back to the car. I felt this as I was rolling down the hill, like, how far away are we parked? I get in, and he says he didn't want to talk about it. And I said, me neither. Then I said that was extremely rude to walk away while I was speaking to you. We have this tension between us brewing when we got home. We're still angry at each other, but aren't speaking. I put in my earpods and then realized I have an extra earpod somehow. I asked Trevor if he's missing an earpod, and it is a smartass about it, like he's already knew. So I gave him back his earpod. I put my earpods, and I'm listening to a tarot reading on YouTube. I feel him right behind me, peering over my shoulder, and I just want my own space and for him to leave me alone for a bit. But he's like glued to my shoulder as I try to move around to find my own space to listen. I'm starting to get annoyed. Alrighty, Michael, this doesn't sound very good.
Well, she sounds like the most tolerant woman on the planet. If there's no question about that. So it's obviously about the relationship. They're the easiest dreams to ever tell. If your partner's in the dream, it's about your relationship, but they're clearly not in a good space. And so I started with that. And she says, absolutely, it's not a good space. And her husband knows that they're not in a good relationship, but he is happy with how things are. So he has no need or urgency to fix anything from his perspective. So I think we'll do this one a little bit differently. You can ask me any questions you want, Sandy.
Well, so we're at Target and they're shopping together. What's going on with the shopping?
So shopping is about meeting your needs. So this is about them meeting the needs in the relationship. And I would take Target to be about this is the direction, or I'm looking for direction. Please give me direction.
Ah, very good. And then mid-sentence, he walks away.
Terrible. So that's about the connection in the relationship. That there's the emotional connection is lost. It would have to be for somebody to do that. And dreams kind of exaggerate situations. The fact that she even got into the same car with him after that, that's what I'm saying. Most tolerant person on the planet.
But then she leaves the store without him. What's going on there?
So she does, but she leaves going through a black transparent plastic door. And so that color isn't good. And this says that she's in a karmic relationship. It wouldn't be enough to know it just by these colors. But when I channel on it, that's what I get. So that means she's kind of stuck here. And in this relationship, she's there for him. So he has to make a change in his life. He has to do something before this karmic relationship is fulfilled. So she's stuck there waiting for him. And he's in a position where he doesn't really care about doing anything. But leaving the store just shows us that. It shows us a little bit more because then she puts on rollerblades and so on.
Yeah, before we get to the rollerblades, we have black payment. So we've got black twice.
Yeah.
Is that fears?
No, that's the karmic part. So, a black mirror, looking into a black mirror would be karma reflecting back on itself. So it's like, this is probably the worst thing you ever want to hear if you're not in a great relationship, that you can't get out of it because it's karmic. And this is something we always check. You can work on healing issues around parents because once you're an adult, the karma's finished, you can do that. But it's not always safe to work on issues around your partner. You actually incur a lot of karma if you try to get out of that relationship when you're not meant to.
Yeah, so now she's got rollerblades going downhill and she's gaining momentum. So what are the rollerblades?
So this would be an emotional symbol. Any system of wheels or circles is going to be about the heart and circulatory system. So the dream is saying that if she goes all in the relationship, she's going to hit some emotional bumps. That's what the bumps that she hits are.
Oh, okay. But she glides over them easily.
Yeah, so they're not too bad.
Okay. But then he's got a silver box-shaped car. Now, boxes I heard aren't good.
But this is how she would describe his car. So I'm going to skip over that one. It's always interesting. Dreams use whatever is around us. They pull them into the dream for it to make sense. But in this case, it doesn't add enough.
Yeah, so she had to rollerblade quite some distance, and she was wondering how her husband got in the car before her. Anything about that?
So the distance isn't good. So she's got a long way to go in this stuck relationship.
Oh boy. All righty. And then she was saying that he's extremely rude for walking away and they have tension brewing, but they're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, again, not good. But she gets into the parked car and she describes it as the parked car. So they know they're going nowhere in the relationship. He says he doesn't want to talk about it. So this is part of the nonsense of where they're at. They know they're going nowhere, but he doesn't want to discuss it. The way she says it is that, and we see this whole AirPods thing coming up. And when I channeled on that, it's like he listens but does nothing. And from his perspective, it's like, that should be enough. I've heard it. I've heard you say it. Now you should stop saying it. I already know the issues in the relationship. So why do we need to talk about it? I would want to headbutt whoever that is, but that's what she's dealing with.
Wow. Alrighty. And then she's listening to a tarot card reading on YouTube. What's with the card reading? Anything?
Yeah, so that was interesting. So I thought, is this one of her gifts and so on? And they said no, but she has a a psychic that she follows, and she does ask questions of. She found him on YouTube, and her guides like him. So it was really good to see that, and very strange, almost strange for the guides to say, yeah, we like this person. So that's just good. And it's nice that it shows up in the dream.
And then why is he glued to her trying to watch that same reading?
Well, he doesn't give her space. And she
Okay.
said, yeah, that's absolutely true. And so what do you do? It's like there's no solution in this dream, because
No.
it's like you're in a karmic one. That's where it is. You're going to have to go the distance, and you're going to have to meet with him wherever he is. And this is what we see in the dream. So in summary, it's like they're saying that if you go all in, if you say, okay, look, I'm all in, make that decision, he is still not going to make that decision on his side. And it's a karmic relationship, so she can't walk away, but the action needs to be taken on his side. And so all they would say to her is that this will give her time to focus on her own personal growth while stuck in this horrible situation. And her personal growth is independent of the relationship. So she will get tremendous joy from doing that. And in fact, she is already doing that. Here she is working with us to heal issues too. So it's kind of like, okay, you will be able to enjoy this other aspect of life, although it has nothing to do with the relationship.
Wow, that is crazy. I have to say, this is the first time I've seen a dream where it doesn't really give you a good answer and it's telling you to stay and just kind of work on yourself. And I've seen other people do that, but I've never seen it in a dream.
It's really sad.
It is. Uh, Maybe someday she'll be able to break free when she's done her part long enough and done her growth.
Well,
Very.
no, she could grow as much as she wants. It won't matter. She owes him something.
Ah, that's what that is. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Well, we have another dream by Jane, so let's move on to the next dream to see what's going on with her. This one's titled Scott Cruz. So Scott Cruz was in my dream. He's a psychic medium on YouTube. He has some sort of condition where would disappear ever so often. And when he did, he was going to take Trevor with him. I didn't want that to happen, but I didn't have much choice. I tried to stop him by holding on, but then it would just have taken me too. I said no as soon as it was about to make us all disappear. So it didn't take me, and I stayed.
All right. So this is, I think that's the name of the psychic medium that she's found on YouTube. So there's getting a shout out on our show for nothing, for just appearing up in somebody else's dream. Anyway,
Yeah.
so so I asked her, would dad disappear every so often? And she said, yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't know what he was doing. She said her parents separated when she was 6, and then dad would just be gone. And when he'd show up, that was it. And she had a fear of not being able to access dad. He could be around, but not available to her, So one of those horrible situations, because when he does show up, you don't have him to yourself. And so consequently, she spent a lot of time alone. She didn't want to let go of dad, but focusing on her own personal growth interests ended up giving her a stability that really should have come from dad. So it's kind of funny. We say this all the time, that life engineers situations that force us to grow. And she can see, or has drawn the direct link herself. The issues with dad caused her to start working on herself. But it doesn't take away from how terrible a father he was.
That's true, but at least it's got her working on herself. I don't know that I have a lot of questions for that one because you seem to have answered it really well.
Excellent.
Right, but we have one more dream from Jane. And let's see what this one's up to. Uh, to get a dog or not to get a dog?
Not to
This
get a
is from,
dog. Don't get a
that's
dog.
what, always get a dog, Michael. I don't know where you're coming from. I love my dog. Anyways, that was the title. And here we go. It was me, Trevor, my husband, and Michelle, a loyal, dependable, good worker. And we had decided to pick up 2 little puppies to rescue and take home. Good start to a dream there, Michael.
Hmm.
Michelle had gotten a small dog, but she didn't seem to be in love with it. I'd gotten a little puppy that seems to be bleeding from its mouth. He had just had dental surgery. Oh, poor thing. I checked his teeth, and he had 2 rows of teeth that were very small in between his gums. Something didn't look healthy, and it looked brown. Michelle had decided not to take her puppy home and left it with the people she had picked them up from. I said to her, "Oh my God, go get your dog, Michelle. You're so mean." I thought she was mean for not taking her dog home and giving it a nice life. But I guess she wasn't in love with it, so she left it behind. I wasn't going to do that. I contemplated it because I already had one dog at home and wasn't necessarily looking to get another dog, but he needed me. As we were in the car leaving after I yelled at Michelle how mean she was, I said to Trevor, "Could I go get the dog?" So we turned back to go get him. I went back inside the house where he was sleeping against the wall on the floor and brought him to take home. There was another dog there that was a husky that reminded me of my Winter, my old dog, and I contemplated taking that one, but I knew a bigger dog would be much more work, so I took home the little puppy. He seemed really sweet. I felt bad for the other doggy that Michelle had left behind.
This dream, it works its magic by bringing up the feelings and her strong feelings like, oh, how could you neglect that poor dog? How could you leave it behind? How could you? So these are real things that happened to her in her life, with the dogs just being surrogates for herself at a young age because they're puppies. So her in childhood, same thing. So dad was negligent, and then we can fill in, then Trevor is negligent too. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't support her. And the way she's so shocked at Michelle in the dream for her lack of support for the dog, you could say that about dad. Are you shocked about your dad's lack of support? And she says, absolutely. But then we can even go further, and we can say that she is shocked at people's lack of love. And so this is a big thing for her, but it all comes from dad and his lack of support for her.
Wow, okay. So very interesting. So we have 2 little puppies, and then we have brown in his mouth and 2 rows of teeth. So what's all that?
The easy part is that teeth are about raising children. We say this, it's probably one of the most common dreams. It's in the top 5, definitely in the top 10. And teeth mean this because animals carry their young around with their teeth, and they use tooth and claw to defend their young. And so when we see a problem with the puppy's teeth, it means this puppy was neglected, which means she was neglected. So there was a problem when she was being raised that that the dream is really focusing on. And the fact that it goes to 2 puppies, that could be an age, most likely. So because dad left by age 6. So before he even left, there's already issues going on.
That was very good. A sad dream, if you ask me. But anyways, let's move on. We've got gifts from Heidi. And this is our next one. My daughter Kay was in the stream as well, and she was 4 or 5 years old. We walked down a flight of stairs and started to walk towards the door to leave at home. But we saw jewelry boxes scattered on the floor. They had the lids torn off and were thrown in a haphazard way. I thought we had been robbed, as that is what it looked like. But we turned, and then to the right of us was a pile of gifts. They were all wrapped nicely, and there were at least 5 or 6 gifts. Some were addressed to me, and some were for my son, and some were for Kay. I thought she should be so excited, as there was a gift there for her. All right, Michael, what do you make so far of this dream?
Okay, so far, she doesn't like to share her gifts. I'm going to ask her about that and why, because there they are in the dream, right? Okay, why are they being still wrapped, right? And she said she's scared too. And she hides her gifts all the way through her life because nobody knew anything about the fact that she could see spirits and she could hear spirits. And if anyone knew, she felt she wouldn't be accepted. So she hid that completely. But there's something a lot worse in the dream here. When we see the gifts, the first gifts, like where she sees these things, the lids are torn off and all that, and where she finds them, like just before the front door, this is not a good symbol. So it's not enough to say it, but I asked her about this. Did she believe there was any abuse when she was 4 or 5? Because we have a 4 or 5-year-old in the dream. And she said she believes that there was. And she has all sorts of evidence for how her health changed, which I won't go into because it's ghastly. And she was different from that point forward in school and all her school pictures and so on. But so we see something precious of hers being taken away. But then it switches to, she sees these wrap gifts. And that's really strange, right? So it's like I immediately go from, oh my God, we were broken into, which is the symbol for abuse, to, oh, look at these gifts that are here. So I asked her, after negative situations, do you look for something positive? Do you always look for the silver lining or the gift that was in that negative situation? And she shared with me that, yes, I always do this. And she even talked about how she had taken her son, they thought he was going to die, and she was coming back on the plane, and she's looking around, and he survived. And she's saying to herself, well, this is a beautiful plane ride I got, that I wouldn't have gotten. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you have like that. I can't imagine the talent it must take to look for the silver lining in such horrible situations. But she has that and still does that to this day. She forgives people very easily. The way she also said, I get angry fast, but I let it go quickly.
Wow. All righty, let's continue on. That is very interesting. I would have never known that being broken into or the front door where the gifts are thrown around.
Yeah, bedroom
would mean
door
that.
or front door broken into. And these gifts were taken from just behind the front door.
Yeah, they were. Okay. Then a man we did not know called us to the table to feed us a lovely dinner he had made. It was Ukrainian food, and I asked my granny to join us, and she came down the stairs, but she said she did not recognize the food. I didn't recognize her as she did not look like my granny. The food was arranged beautifully, and there were foods I loved. They were stacked very high, and it tasted delicious. That's good.
All right. So uh, it seems good, but it's like, could you imagine if your granny who came down the stairs wasn't your granny? And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm still going to eat the food here. So that's a huge sign. So I asked her, okay, what's the connection with the granny? Why is that in there? And she said that there's a connection, and I won't give the details, but there's a connection between the granny and somebody she fostered. And that's where the abuse came from. But the way the guides described it when I channeled on it is that she paints over people. So, say for instance, there's a guy called Mark. If someone else was in his situation, they would be appalled at how Mark acts. But Heidi would just say, oh, that's just Mark. And the way she described it to me when I asked her about that, she said, I get to know somebody quite quickly. And then as long as what they are doing is within the parameters of what I expect from them, I don't even see them. And so that causes many people in their dreams to show up differently. And she said this is a frequent occurrence in her dreams. It wouldn't just be her granny, it would be other people that she knows well. And it's like, oh, this person's playing this person I know well, but I know it's not them. So it was really quirky kind of thing to see in a dream. Took a bit of channeling to get it, but that's what it means.
Very interesting. So, was it safe for her to eat the food?
So her grandmother is Ukrainian, but the food is kind of like a healing device in the dream to overcome a situation. So it's fine that the food was there and it's fine that it tasted delicious. But I would never like in a dream at all myself, and this is for other people listening. If somebody shows up trying to get you to eat food and you don't know who that person is, you generally do not want to eat that food. It's a trick that's often used by nefarious people.
Wow, Michael, that's very interesting. I don't know if I have much to say. I can't add any more to this. Do you have any other comments or anything you would like to say?
No, it's just I mean, obviously, I love how every dream is a little bit different, but how they're extremely personal to the dreamer, like the message behind these things. The fact that she can forgive easily, the fact that she can look for the silver lining, and so on and so on, they're all positive things, but they come from a trauma. So many
Yeah.
times, what we would consider to be a beautiful trait that a person has is there because of something horrible that they've endured. And it's still a good trait. And when you do the work on yourself and heal the trauma, or even just diminish it to a large degree, you still get to keep all the good traits. But sometimes what you'll find is we act in the positive way almost without our ability to control whether we act positively or not. We always end up doing that thing. So when you heal yourself, the difference is now you can choose when to use this trait. So it's not always on. And it's kind of sad. We see it a lot of the time. And we cover it on a few shows, but we don't always call it out, how our gifts are actually often uncovered or discovered by us because of some terrible trauma that we experienced.
Right. I find it interesting. So, what do you make of her painting people and how they show up differently in her dream? Is that she's just trying to make them better than what they are and she can't accept them for who they are? Or what exactly does that mean?
Well, they were my words that she paints over people. What our brain does is filters out as much of the world as it considers as unnecessary. And anything we really need to focus on, that's what our brain delivers to us. And so she's just doing it in a kind of an extreme way. And so she doesn't see the person anymore because she's like, I know the person, I know their traits, they're in a box, and that's all good to her. But she knows she does it. And she knows she misses out on things because she does that. And so it's just funny to see that trait. Again, not necessarily a good trait that she does that. It's going to be most likely connected to the trauma that she experienced, but something that is inherently part of her now.
Right. Wow, very interesting. Well, I think that's all we have. I hope everybody has a fabulous week, and I look forward to sharing more dreams with you next week. And don't forget, we've got the channeling cohort that's starting on August 3rd. Please show up. You guys will have such a good time with it. Anyways, look forward to hearing from you or seeing you later. Bye.